You can check this out on Facebook Live as well on the Bluff Sports Network. I'm not sure where you can catch it with Mark, but we'll try and find out from him throughout. And so we're going to be back here in just a minute talking to Chad Gibney, and actually we'll bring in Chad right now and talk to you a little bit. I know you had a few frustrations in that game as there were, it just wasn't your best performance overall as a team. What did you want to see from your team, and what did you not quite see from your team?
It wasn't our best performance, but like you mentioned, we had a couple people really step up, and I thought Giovanna Silva, one of our kind of unsung heroes, was really, really good.
Yeah, she was.
Her defense and her toughness changed the game. I thought Anastasia Johnson, who's here with us, was awesome. She's been so consistent and such a mainstay for us. And those two, and then Olivia White coming in and hitting 4 threes in the first half, gave us such a lift. And that consistency coming from Giovanna and coming from Anastasia have been really good to see this year.
Stas with 19 points, Giovanna was 16 in the game, so the two leading scorers on the court for the Cougars. It was a pretty good night for those two players.
Let's go, Stas!
Corey Farringer.
Corey Farringer's always so hard to tell when he's around, He's such a quiet guy. One of the things that is so recognizable about Stas's game, and we'll get her in here after the break, is her quickness, man. She is just, I don't know if it's just the Colorado air that she was brought up in, but man, she is one of the quickest players out on the court, and she seems to really enjoy stealing the ball. That's not something that you see very often. That's not a statistic people usually care about, but it seems like she likes it.
Well, she's got great hands.
Yeah,
unbelievably quick hands, and on top of that, she's very, very tough, and she takes a pride in what she does, and she comes to work every day, and you know what you're going to get. And her consistency and her toughness has helped raise our level of play as a team by a lot this season, and so her on-ball pressure really changes the game.
Is that something she brings in practice as well?
Yeah, she is consistently ready to go every day in practice, and she sets a tone, and she does a great job of being an example for our younger players of how we want to do things, and her energy and how she goes about her business every single day at practice shows why she's been so successful this year.
Absolutely. Well, it's weird talking about her when she's right here. So we're going to go to break real quick, and we will be back with Anastasia Johnson here on the Bluff Sports Network in 93.3 KMOR in sunny 99.3. I'm getting all my stations mixed up. I was a journalism major, not a math major, so, I can't keep all these numbers in my head. Make sure to check us out on Facebook Live as well, the Bluff Sports Network on Facebook. And so we will be back at Formaggio's Italian Restaurant in just 60 seconds. Don't go anywhere. No, for real though, that's the hardest part of this job, is remembering all the numbers. I'm not good at that.
I'll tell you what, these calzones are pretty good.
Yeah, so there's calzone and then there's stromboli. And so, what's everybody... Stromboli has the sauce in it. The calzone has the sauce on the side.
Do they have pepperoni in it?
Yeah, it's pepperoni and sausage, and then pepperoni, sausage, and black olives.
Let's see who's talking to me.
I'm allergic.
Hey, Chelsea Gorman's on here.
Are you? Oh.
Trevor. Hi, Trevor.
No. I'm sorry.
Sorry I'm not on camera, but I don't want to break it. We want to put the main people on there over here.
You don't want... I've broken... I have a face for radio, folks. Sounds good? Cool. Thanks, Cardell.
Rock and roll.
You were a little low, apparently, so that's what I was doing. I was bringing your levels up, so... All right, we're coming back.
There are two best players, numbers 11 and 12. Really athletic, big.
And we're back here for the Western Nebraska Coaches Corner, brought to you by Fender Menders. Is one of your one-stop shops for your paintless dent repair needs. They also do hail damage, animal collision, and painting. Stop by Fender Menders at 1525 East Overland or call at 308-635-7970. That's 308-635-7970. We are back here at Formaggio's Italian Restaurant, Inside Shots Bar and Grill, talking hoops. Dave, the mailman Bruns, Anastasia Johnson, sophomore at WNCC, and of course the head coach of the Lady Cougars, Chad Gibney, is here, and the leading scorer was Anastasia Johnson. Anastasia, thank you for coming by. And first things first, something I should ask you, how are your finals going?
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good?
Yeah.
You're going to get straight A's this semester?
I don't know about straight A's, but I'm passing the classes that I need to pass.
Nice. Well, that's good. Sorry, I shouldn't have put you on the spot like
okay.
that. But
Our women's basketball team always has a high GPA as far as the athletics goes, and there's no doubt in my mind they have one again this semester.
oh, I'm sure. I know that's something Chad preaches constantly. So
Academic team of the year last year and trying to get a repeat going. So
there you go.
I think they'll do it. I think they'll be all right. I think they're going to.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, that's one of those achievements that an evergreen achievement, to use a journalism word. You can just constantly have that on your resume. So I wanted to talk to you, Anastasia, about the fact that you are so quick with your hands. We were just talking about that. You get a lot of steals for your team. During the Williston State game, it felt like you were constantly taking the ball away. You were doing it again at Eastern Wyoming. What kind of pride do you take in, kind of that quick twitch muscle, easy for me to say, just taking the ball away from whoever you're guarding?
I take a lot from it because, I don't know, most of the time, I have to be careful because a lot of the refs will call it in as a reaching foul.
Sure.
So I've had to kind of teach myself to, watch their waist, and then, that's when I would go.
Okay.
And, their weakest, when I feel like it's their weakest moment, then that's when I kind of just stab at it and keep going.
Okay, that's a cool little point. So how do you notice, the vulnerability?
Normally, I guess against the Williston game, the girl, she did the same behind the back move every time. So it's I kind of timed it up to right when she would go behind, that's when I would go out and tip it. So it was kind of perfect for me because she did the same move every time. But against EWC, they had a lot of quick guards, so it was kind of I had a match with my quickness with theirs, but I feel like I still did a pretty good job with.
No, you did a phenomenal job, and I will say I thought the guards, whether it was Marguerite or Ray Shuck or whoever was on the ball, they were quick players, Dave.
Well, and going back to the point with their two guards, they're both very fast, both from Spain. But you guys did a great job of getting Marguerite into foul trouble kind of early in that game, which kind of took her out of the equation, and you only had to really deal with Rory. And you guys handled her pretty well. She still had 26 points in the game, but one person, as you know, one person isn't going to win a game for you. You guys kind of had to contain her, but that had to be the ultimate test as far as your defensive skills go. A good test down the road early in the season against EWC.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like because they're a completely different team this year than they were last year, so I think overall it's a good challenge.
Yeah, and going into the break, you guys are ranked number 24 in the country. You're one of the very toughest teams. And in my opinion, I think everybody would be afraid to play a team that defensively takes as much pride as you guys do. I think you guys actually somewhat enjoy defense, which is not something that every team can say. Especially when it turns into offense. And I was talking to a coach the other day, and I was actually talking to the Crawford coach last night after the Minutair game, and his players were starting to enjoy playing a little bit of defense themselves, and he was saying, when you can relay that into offense, it's easy to, kind of establish that for your team. Chad, how do you do that, and Stas, how does that come across for you guys? I don't care who answers first, sorry.
I think we've just talked about having our defense lead to easy offense, and it's difficult to play 5-on-5 and in a half-court game all game long and have to execute time after time after time. So if we can use that defense and that pressure to go out and get easy baskets in transition, that's 10, 15, 16 points a game that we can go get that's easy and really helps us to get to where we need to go.
Well, and you guys always have a lot of transition points, and Stas, you're always one of the people with the most transition points, it seems like. Is that something that you guys really work on in practice a lot?
Yeah, like the first maybe 15 minutes of practice, we just work on getting our bodies warmed up and going through our outlet drills and just running. It's the first 15 minutes of practice. It just carries over into the game. Absolutely.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. You guys showed it so far this season. You're doing well. Anastasia going to get straight A's, telling her mom right now, getting straight A's this semester. And thanks again for both you guys joining us. It's always a pleasure having you on, Chad and Stas. Always good to see you, and good luck. Have a good Christmas, okay?
Same to you.
Yeah, all right. From paintless dent repair to animal collision, Fender Menders has you covered. Stop by Fender Menders at 1525 East Overland in Scotts Bluff. 93.3 KMOR, 99.3 Sunny. We're all over the place. We're going to bring up Corey Fahringer here in a little bit as he's getting chased around by a little monster, his son, who almost knocked over a microphone. But Marlon Sierra is going to join him as well. And it'll be great to talk to those two. Once again, big thank you to Chad Gibney and Anastasia Johnson for joining us here on the WNCC Coaches Corner at Formaggio's Italian Restaurant inside Shots Bar and Grill. We'll be back in just 60 seconds. Don't go anywhere. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good job, Stas. You're great.
Chad's just like, I want to eat.
Yeah.
This thing was,
Some of that.
It looks good, right? Yeah, they said calzones this week. I was like, I don't care. Whatever you guys want. Oh, yeah? Nice.
Boy, you unplug something, get us in trouble.
I feel bad. She can't eat pepperoni. I didn't know that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have ordered it.
Not eat pepperoni.
I'm allergic.
She's allergic. Right? Isn't that terrible?
Kill yourself when you were little.
That's terrible.
I'm just kidding, Stas.
Do a good job, Stas?
Yeah,
Very
I
good.
was in a helicopter.
Canadian bacon.
What's up, guys? How are you doing, big
Got
man?
a couple bumpy.
No? No knuckles? All
take
right, I'll
time.
get you by the end.
Come on, big fella.
Here you go, boss.
Should Daddy put these on?
Marlon, come sit down, man. What's up? I'm
you
Keaton.
doing?
Haven't met you before.
Nice meeting you.
Called a lot of
Dave,
buckets
come in,
for you, though.
Thank you.
All right, stand by. We
Know what
are
you're doing?
back here.
Let Daddy try mine.
So I'm going to talk to him first, and then I'll bring you in right after. Turn that around.
Put you on the spot.
Hey, you want food?
And we're back here at Formaggio's Italian Restaurant inside Shots Bar and Grill. Advanced Septic Solutions is a proud supporter of the Western Nebraska Cougars. Advanced Septic Solutions is family owned and operated and based out of Scotts Bluff. Call 308-631-9594. That's 308-631-9594 today to set up your appointment today, of course. And we will get started here with Corey Fahringer and Marlon Sierra joining us as well. Great to have both of them with us, but let's first talk about the high-scoring affair that went on Saturday.
The rain dance.
Yes,
That was a rain dance.
That was a rain dance.
22 3-pointers in that game. I just had to throw that.
No, that is.
And I'm gonna say this before we get going any further. Coach Farringer, I wanted those shoes you were wearing.
Hey, you know
He
what?
mentioned that
I
too.
mentioned that on the radio.
We ditched the dress shoes. We do too much in a stance. I ruined, you got to buy multiple dress shoes every year. And the kids, were like, bro, you got to have some style, coach. I said,
What were they, though?
just some Nike clean cuts,
Yeezys?
man. Yeah, just some nice Nikes. And we'll refuse to wear dress shoes the rest of the year.
Amen to that, brother. That's all.
And I'm not doing it. And the kids like it. I like it. I'm more comfortable. And I always tell them, to be yourself. And the biggest thing I can do is support you. And they do the same back for me. They're like,
There you
Coach,
go.
get some swag, man. And so I'm working on it.
There you go, some
Swag's an
swag.
understatement, man. That was awesome. I was like, that's the first thing I pointed out when I looked over. It's like, Coach Farringer's got the shoes, man. They're going all the way tonight.
And they did 129, 111, 240 points. I'm not good at math, but I can add those two numbers up as it was raining threes in that game as Corey Farringer goes in 22 threes. Excuse me. It was a lot of threes. There were a lot of
240 total points in the game, though.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. 240 points. Unbelievable. And Marlon, you added in on the action quite a bit as well as we bring in Marlon Sierra here. He had 26 points, 9 from 12 from the floor, as well as 3 for 3 on three-pointers, man. Shoot, you're a big guy, but you can shoot it from the outside.
We were working on it a lot in practice as a team. We would do a drill called fastball, where coaches have us like moving the ball and shooting at a speed, like game speed. So that was helping a lot.
Marlon always been able to shoot it, but we had to talk him into letting it rip.
Yeah.
Last year he would pass him up, because it wasn't a great shot. And we kept telling him, like, we believe you can make it, you can knock it down. And now, he just lets the team know how good a shooter he is.
Well, and it's when you got the high percentage, I've seen you flush a few down. There's nothing more high percentage than that. But the analytics guys say that it's either a dunk, a layup, or a three-pointer. You seem to be able to do all three, which has got to make you an attractive player at the next level as well. But sticking on this level, you guys have 2 games this week. What are you looking forward to playing Western Wyoming starting on Friday, man?
We just got to close the year right. As a team, we'll be talking a lot. Just finish strong. Need to get them top 25 because the top teams know how we play. And
Yeah.
we made them work. So.
Yeah, you guys played Salt Lake earlier this year. You gave them a game. You also, who did you guys beat as well? CSI in that tournament? Yeah, you guys beat CSI as well. And so, you guys have a lot of really tough guys to compete with. And one of the things I've said is when you can make as many three-pointers as you guys do, there isn't a team out there that you guys can't beat, and I'm sure you guys feel that way.
Yeah, but we really, because we know we know we can score. So lately we just be focusing on defense because if we play better defense, the lead is gonna get even bigger.
Yeah, and so.
Well,
you guys
I gotta jump in here real quick, as I'm chasing baby boy Lawrence around who's making his radio debut. I thought it was gonna be easier than this, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey man, nothing without a few obstacles.
But I'll tell you
right?
this, our 2 losses are to number 5 in the country, Salt Lake, who rightfully so is number 5 in the country. They're good.
Very good. Perennially good, correct?
CSI's, I don't even know what CSI is. And these guys know I got no concern about the rankings. I don't care one bit. If that's their prerogative, that's theirs.
Sure.
But I do tell them this, that your 2 losses are the 2 top 10 teams in the country, and people aren't voting for you. So what does that tell you? You got a lot of work to do, and people don't respect you yet.
Yeah.
And they got to continue to go out and earn it on a nightly basis.
Well, and that's something that we've talked about before on this show is I think some of the best athletes in the world feel like, hey man, you don't respect me. Whether it's LeBron James, I don't know why he doesn't think people respect him. He's been the best player since he was like 18.
Constant criticism.
But it's constant criticism. He grew up in the era of social media. Tom Brady, same thing, 6th-round pick. All these guys. What kind of chip do you walk around with on your shoulder, and how do you carry it, and how do you kind of manage it on a day-to-day?
You're too short. You ain't athletic enough, Mark.
I have a lot of people I gotta play for because, for example, my dad was a player, but he had me at 16, so he couldn't play no more. I have friends who passed away that used to play basketball too, so when I play for the team, but I have people that I have to like represent for as well. So it's both combined is just.
It shows
great.
in your game, man. It shows in your game for sure.
Well, I would say like going to his recruitment. Constantly we have to go out and remind people that Marlon's the toughest forward on the floor every night.
Yeah.
Every night. I mean, the Atum kid from Casper College came in. LSU was in the stands. Louisiana State was there to watch him that night. And there was no question who the better player was that night. Nothing against the Casper player.
No, absolutely not.
But Marlon was clearly more difficult that evening. And he's done that night in and night out. Played against Division I recruits. And they can't pass like him, dribble like him, shoot like him.
Well, and one thing I've noticed about Marlon is you're very collected. You're very calm. You're very, you're kind of a silent killer out there. I mean, you go out there and you do what you need to do. It's a blue collar thing to you. You go out and do what you're supposed to do. You're not out there, me. And I'm not saying any of the other guys are like that, but unless somebody's really paying attention to you, they can't see you slicing them up. And I don't even think they hear you coming half the time. But going back to those open shots that you get. Do you kind of attribute that to guys chasing Vinny around and guys chasing Georgie around, knowing that those guys are outside going to take that shot? Because I don't know how many open shots I saw you take the other night.
The whole team is capable of doing something. Of course, we got Vinny, we got Georgie, but we also have Martin, who could I think he's like one of the best shooters on the team because he's just automatic. But we also have people coming in and doing a great job of stepping in, like Marco, Bryce Sanchez and stuff, so it just a lot of people get open. A lot of our shots are open because we move with the ball. We practice on that every day.
Hey, is everybody dangerous on the team?
Definitely.
I watched practice today. I tell you what, Roy Bell and Billy were kind of beating you guys up a little bit today. I mean, they're tearing you guys up, but it's a good, hard, intense practice. I can see why you guys are as good as you are.
Yeah, and when you have those intense practices like that, I know. For me, sometimes going to baseball practice was fun. Going to basketball practice was always rough.
These guys were fighting for a ball all the way to the doors.
Yeah, man.
There's no out of bounds.
Yeah,
no, there's no out of bounds.
So, and I was sitting over there just shaking my head going, man, somebody's going to end up in the wall. And I tell you what, they were going at it. They were scrapping. And Billy and Roy Bell were letting them go. And it was just awesome to see so much intensity in practice. You guys bring it day in and day out, and then you bring it to the court with you at night.
Well,
that's what Marlon mentioned, that you talk about the kids we've recruited. We've went and got a lot of kids that were under recruited, and we love those type of kids. Trent Harris is one to speak of just in the community, under recruited, undervalued, but he's very skilled and he's very determined to be a very good player and a very good student, a very good human being. And those three variables, we sought out. Good human being, a committed student, and a committed player. And these sophomores, there's nothing but commitment as far as they want to play for each other. They want to have each other's backs. And they're very easy to go to work with on a daily basis, and we love them for it.
Marlon, every day when you go to practice, I know you got all sorts of people that you're playing for. What is the big thing that you go in and you're like, I want to improve on this? Is it something different? Is it a mentality? Is it physical? What are the things every day that you do that people would want to know about?
First of all, I respect my coach, so I feel like every time you step in practice, you have to just go all out for him because he's putting the time in to work with you. So that's one thing, and then the other thing you have to go. I'm just trying to make my team better, because we gonna need it at the end. It's not just 5 people; it's everybody.
Yeah.
It's
all 10.
We need everybody. So also, just representing the school the best way possible.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
That's about it.
Well, it shows in your game, man, and I've said that a few times tonight as Lawrence making his radio debut.
Scott's Bluff.
Definitely the best looking dude on the set right now, as Corey is here. Yeah, the towhead.
And these guys, and that's one thing, you talk to these kids, you work with them. I mean, Marlon goes to church with us, and, this group is beyond basketball.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think Marlon exemplifies is bigger in basketball. You know, whether it's a player being there for a coach or coach being there for a player, it goes both ways. That's why Marlon's been so great.
Yeah, I mean, it really shows in your cohesion as a team. I mean, you know, you guys are sparked by all sorts of different guys. You know, in the first half at Eastern Wyoming, Georgie played a huge role, hitting 7 3-pointers by himself. Dude can shoot the ball like no other, or whether it's Martin making a couple of 3-pointers as well and just, you know, working his butt off like he normally does, or just the fire that Gervais brings every single game. I see it every game, like there's something in that kid's eyes.
That boy wasn't diving for loose balls at GW. That he learned along the way. And I think there should be a lot said about Bryce Sanchez and Marko Rajanovic and Martin Rube. And those freshmen, along with several others, show up to practice every day. Don't play as much.
Sure.
But they come to practice every day to help us get better. And those freshmen, you know, have really taken strides the right direction. But it's the same strides he was making his freshman year. You know,
sure.
Going through some of the same challenges. And so I think they have good leadership within the program, within the sophomores. And I think the sophomores are doing a good job of catching on.
So is that something you take pride in like seeing the freshmen get better?
Oh, yeah, and also seeing our captain Vinny.
Yeah,
he's always
his work ethic.
Yeah, he's always working. If it's not his room, he's in the gym working out, and he makes everybody get better. He makes me go. So
that's awesome, man.
He's a key to the team.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm really happy for you guys. I'm glad you guys are back in the top 25.
We're glad you're on our side.
Yeah,
that's what I got to say.
exactly.
Hey, I worked a lot of years to get on this side. It took time to get here, man. It wasn't an easy trip to get the Western Nebraska job, and I couldn't be more thankful for it. And I know that these players are thankful for the dorm families and the professors and the people in the community that support them and the people that come out to the games. I just think that they should feel blessed to be a part of the Western Nebraska Cougars, and they should go out and play like that.
Well, and you can tell from the way that these guys are inspired by Coach Fehringer by playing here. The fact that they want to put that on, I can't thank Coach enough. He's been super enthused about this whole thing, getting this out there. And so come on down to Cougar Palace at the start of 2018. You guys, though, are going to be in Western Wyoming. I'm going to be following you guys there, as well as Central Wyoming on Friday and Saturday. So tune in on Friday to Sunny 99.3 for the Western Wyoming game, and then at 4 on Saturday, y'all will be playing Central Wyoming, and so excited to see you guys.
We're gonna have to get him some on-command push-ups. We're gonna have to make a bet and get him some on-command push-ups. I know I never get the on-command push-ups. I'm never taking a bet I'm gonna lose, but
I got
there's some on-commands running around out there.
Yeah? All right, man. Sounds good. Well, we will be back here on Sunny 99.3 and KMOR 93.3. Advanced Septic Solutions is a certified master plumber, inspector, installer. Let Advanced Septic Solutions be the solution to your call, your septic problems. We don't want you dealt a bad hand because a flush beats a full house. Call 308-631-9594 today to set up your appointment. We'll be back here in just 2 minutes on the Bluff Sports Network and 93.3 KMOR and Sunny 99.3. Hey, thank you, fellas.
Thanks,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Sorry about the little kid running around.
Nah, dude, you're good. It was good having him here.
Mine's sitting over there. I don't know how she kept him on the seat.
Hey, thank you, Corey. Appreciate it. Yeah. Look at that, you did it. That was your first radio interview, man.
I should have just let my daughter take you. She'd have had him the whole time.
Did you want another piece?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, eat.
Get in there, get in there.
That's for you. Maybe scoop.
Yeah, in a second here. Thank you for doing this, by the way, on there. I appreciate it.
It's on mine.
Hey, thanks again, Marlon.
Thanks, Marlon.
Yeah. It is on yours? It's not on the Bluffs. All right. Yeah, so if you want to go 2 minutes, we can, Cardell and Eddie.
What's on tap next for the radio show?
We're going to have a break next week because it's Christmas. Be back you know.
What are you guys talking about next?
Oh, we're talking a little volleyball for Nebraska, and then we'll talk the Broncos not being as terrible as they normally are. So tune in, man, or stay tuned.
I'm back.
Could you not get it going on the Bluffs?
I would. I got a lot more followers that I'm watching.
What's going on, brother? I'm there.
We're trying to get as many as you, though.
I know, we're working on it.
So yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna go with this. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it, as we got all sorts of people here tonight at Formaggio's Italian restaurant. Formaggio's is Italian for cheese, and they got all sorts of great items here at Formaggio's.
I brought my family here to get some pizza and some food.
Yeah, you guys should bring your families down as well, because it's a fantastic environment here inside Shots Bar and Grill. We were talking some hoops. We're going to talk a little Nebraska volleyball now.
First of all, let's thank Corey Faringer and Marlon Sierra and Chad Gibney and Stas for Anastasia Johnson for being here tonight. I mean, they took time out of their night to be here. I know you have thanked them before, but I wanted to personally thank them themselves. And,
absolutely.
You know, it's nice to kind of get into their heads and find out what goes on through the mind of a collegiate athlete who is this far from home, and they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that, and they're trying to be good. So it's really got to thank those guys for being here tonight and gave them some great food. I haven't dug into any of this yet, but I will. Give me time.
I'm sure you will. It's some good food here at Formaggio's Italian restaurant, as Lawrence is still the star of the show here, Corey Faringer's son. And so let's go ahead and move on. It was good talking to these guys, as they normally are. They're great guys, fun to talk to, fun to be around, and they've made this show what it is. So let's always not forget to thank them for how things go on this. But we are going to move on. Nebraska volleyball has made their third consecutive Final Four, as they are one of the toughest teams out there to play. I mean, it was really surprising to me, and I think a lot of people were surprised by the fact that they were not a top 4 seed.
No.
I think a lot of people said that was one of the biggest snubs of the tournament, was them not being a top 4 seed. Came back and won in Kentucky, so clearly didn't matter too much.
Where was the poetic justice there? They go down to Lexington, Kentucky, and take out the number 4 seed in Kentucky in 4 sets. So now, I honestly believe that this semifinal match in the Final Four against Penn State is going to be the national championship.
Yeah, same.
It's a game that Penn State's lost 1 match this season. It was to
Nebraska.
Huskers.
And where was it?
It was in Penn State.
Yeah.
It was in Happy Valley.
Isn't that crazy?
So, looking at this Huskers team and Brianna Holman and Michaela Fecke, you just go on down the list. Kelly Hunter they're all so far on top of their games right now. I'll tell you what, I was listening to John Baylor the other day and Lauren Cook and listening to that Kentucky match, and Michaela Fecke and Brianna Holman are just tearing the cover off the ball. And, I call it the vapor trail. They were kind of in the same ballpark as what
absolutely.
I was talking about. And, this is a team that is, it's a destiny for them. This team is on a mission. And,
sure.
They get through Penn State, and there's no doubt in my mind they're going to take down either Florida or Stanford.
Yeah.
Who, you look at Stanford. Stanford took out one of our former WNC coaches, Giovanna Mello, had her team. They actually played Stanford in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Cal State Fullerton, correct?
Cal State Bakersfield.
Excuse me. A lot of California state schools, man.
So Stanford gets through that. They actually make it to the Final Four. And this is a chance for the Huskers to do something. This is their 14th trip to the Final Four overall.
Yeah, John Cook's an amazing coach. And I just want to read some of these stats off to you. You were talking about Michaela Fecky. She led the team in kills, 18 kills, ton of kills. Brianna Holman had 11. Brianna Holman had 11. Annika Albright had 14. Jazz Sweet Annika.
And Jazzy's a freshman.
Yeah.
So this girl is playing lights out volleyball right now, and like you said, Ani, you're talking down the board, and then you got to credit Kelly Hunter for what she does at the center position for the Huskers. And I know Benny Canales is in Kansas City right now for this.
Oh, he's watching the game. Yeah, I mean, that's something we talked about with the WNCC team as well. One of the most underrated positions in all of volleyball is that center position. It's really a floor general. It's a distributor. It's like kind of the I guess anymore. It's not like the point guard position, because the point guard position has turned into just who can shoot the most threes. But just ask Vinny Shahid that. I'm just kidding. Vinny Shahid is a great distributor. 32 points. Yeah, he was phenomenal. Yeah, Vinny's one of the best. I think if he had a couple more inches, he would be a NBA prospect right now.
I like him just where he's at.
I think so too.
I think he's perfect. I mean, I watch guys like Spud Webb, and Muggsy Bogues, and those guys. They ain't got nothing on Vinny, man. Vinny can flat out play basketball, and he's got a lot of heart. So, we want him to stay here as long as, get through this season and then do what he's going to do.
Tear it up at North Dakota State, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But getting back to it, we were talking about Kelly Hunter. She had, how many assists did she have? She had a lot of assists 46 in the game, something like that. Yeah, 46 assists, 2 service aces, no service errors.
I'll do the
Pretty
math
impressive.
46 set assists, and you're scoring 25 a game. So the 4 sets, it's 100 set figure, and then you go off on unforced errors and whatever else. 46 is
carry the one.
Yeah, 46 is a pretty good number, and Kelly Hunter has been putting up those kind of numbers all season long as a setter. So this is a Nebraska team, like I said, that is poised right now. They are at the top of their game. They're playing their best volleyball, and tomorrow they'll see if they can carry it on from Penn State.
Yeah, absolutely, and it'll be a good game to tune into. John Baylor on the call on that one, and so it'll be just fun to see how this team kind of gets together, their cohesion as a unit. I'm always interested in things like that. And let's go ahead and move on here as we will switch gears just a little bit to the Denver Broncos breaking a 50-year-old losing streak since they entered the NFL. So this was a losing streak that they had back in the AFL before the merger happened. They had an 8-game losing streak, something that I've never seen in my lifetime. In the 25 years I've been alive, they have had more Super Bowls than losing seasons. And I'm not that young. I'm 26. I guess I am young, but I'm not that young. I've seen the Broncos play a lot. And so this has been one of the weirder seasons. And I'm not going to lie, one of the topics that I want to avoid, because I think it's just so incredibly boring, is, the Broncos should be tanking. Maybe they should be, maybe they shouldn't be. They're not going to be the number 1 pick. That's going to be the Cleveland Browns. They just get that pick every year because we feel bad for Cleveland.
The head coach trying to keep his job. They're not going to tank anything.
No.
They got to go out and play their football and do what they got to do.
And I was going to say, I think that's one of the reasons that they went out there and played like that. And so they also shut out a team for the first time in, I believe it was since 2005. And guess who was against in 2005?
New York Jets.
It was against the Jets as well.
And Andy Janovich, the product from Gretna, Nebraska, played for the Huskers, got his first touchdown of the season in that game.
Very impressive.
At fullback for the Broncos. So congratulations, Jano.
Yeah.
And I can tag him on this if you want, but I won't.
I mean, go ahead if you want to. Go ahead and leave a comment for him. You can find us on Facebook.com as well on the live feed. And so I think that was a big win for the Broncos overall as an organization. They moved from 4th to 5th in the draft order for next year. Some people say that, that puts him out of the conversation. One of the things I've said, though, I think
be a lot of quarterbacks coming out.
There are. I mean, whether it's Sam Darnold, whether it's Josh Rosen. Yeah.
Quarterbacks coming out in this draft.
Well, and there usually
Josh
are,
Allen?
but there are 4 really, really solid quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Sam Darnold is obviously kind of the premier pick. I think Sam Darnold has the most potential of all of them. I also think he's the most raw, and I think there's a very good chance he stays in school. So, they didn't make the Final Four for college football by just barely. They won the Pac-12 this year, so I think he could come back. And if I was his coach, I would tell him to come back, not just based on selfish reasons, based on the fact that the best quarterbacks in the NFL all stayed for a good amount of games. I mean, Carson Wentz was kind of is somebody that's an enigma. That doesn't happen very often where you play 13 games. And he played at a school where he was making audibles constantly. He was changing the play on his own, unlike Paxton Lynch, who had never been in a huddle before he went to the Denver Broncos. So I think, Josh Allen, everybody talks about Josh Allen being this great quarterback. The guy can't win in the Mountain West. I'm not a big fan of. I know there are a lot of Wyoming fans around here. I have nothing against Wyoming. I just think he's looked at for his body, and I think he'll look great at the combine because guys are in underwear there and they're not pressured in any way.
I don't know if you heard about the Manning passing camp. Did you?
I have heard about the Manning passing camp.
Josh Allen was actually the best quarterback there. So this is a situation where I think the guy's got the tools. I think he's got the arm. I think he's got the tools. I think he's got the body. Does he have the mind? Does he have?
Yes.
Can he emotionally go out and play in a professional offense?
Well, and I want to talk about that more, but we are going to take a quick 60-second break here on the Bluff Sports Network, 99.3 Sunny, as well as 93.3 KMOR here on the Bluff Sports Network and Sunny 99.3. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. We'll be back here in just 60 seconds on the Bluff Sports Network. Dead? Yeah, that was my problem. Because I was like, I had 20%, and I was like, crap, I didn't bring my
started with 43, and it still killed it.
I know. That's a problem with this.
Mark's still filming.
Nice jacket.
Right? I'm telling you.
The Martinez kid committed to Nebraska today.
Oh, nice.
Going to Tennessee.
That makes sense. Yeah, they finally hired a nobody there. And we're back here on 99.3 Sunny, as well as 93.3 KMOR.
We're going to get you fixed on that.
I know. I'm trying to remember all these 90 numbers, and I'm just not good with numbers. Thank you for tuning in as we are back at Formaggio's Italian restaurant inside Shots Bar and Grill. We've been talking hoops. You can join us every Wednesday here on both of these channels and as well on Facebook Live. So I appreciate everybody that is tuning in. We were talking to Corey Farringer and Chad Gibney earlier. They brought along Anastasia Johnson and Marlon Sierra, respectively, from their teams. So very excited to talk to those guys and see how their season's going. Make sure to tune in to Sunny 99.3 because we will be covering the game in Western Wyoming on Friday starting at 7 p.m., 4 p.m. on Saturday as they will be playing in Central Wyoming. We are back talking about the Denver Broncos right now. They've fallen in the draft. We were talking some quarterbacks, and so I was saying I'm not the biggest fan of Josh Allen, and it's not, I shouldn't even say not a fan. I'm not really a fan of hardly anybody except for LeBron James anymore, and the Denver Broncos as a whole. I grew up with LeBron James. I love him. I think he's the best basketball player.
I grew up with Michael Jordan, and I still think Michael's better. But
and that's
a whole nother.
I was going to say, we could have a 40-minute topic on that, but let's talk about this. So Josh Allen is one of those guys that I think that he can make all the throws, but we were talking about this earlier. One of the things that makes you great as a quarterback, and absolutely as a quarterback, one of the things you have to be great at is the above the shoulders. Can you handle it mentally?
Between the years, yeah.
And so, does Josh Allen have the skill set? Yes, I think he does. He can make all the throws. It's been known. I think the most polished quarterback, the guy that has the IQ, the arm strength, all the throws can be made, I think that's Josh Rosen. I think he's the most polished of all of them. And maybe Baker Mayfield, they have the highest floor, but also, in my opinion, the lowest ceiling. And what I mean by that is they may not be the best quarterback in the NFL, but they could be franchise guys like Matt Ryan or Andy Dalton, or any of these guys who are just kind of right there in the middle of the pack. I'd put Andy Dalton probably at the lower end of that pack. But Matt Ryan right there in the middle of the pack. No, he's not Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, but I think that's something that I could see. I don't see Baker Mayfield being good at all. We have footage. He's been arrested multiple times.
Johnny Manziel Jr.
Yes.
And one name that you didn't mention in there is Sam Darnold. I mean, I'm
convinced he's coming back.
Well, but if he does come out, I think in this day and age, I think he would be crazy not to go out, especially if he could be the number one pick. I mean,
and play for Cleveland?
That's big money. But
it is, but you got to play for Cleveland.
He could pull an Eli.
Well, yes.
He could pull an Eli. I mean, they would have to trade up, and Cleveland would have to get,
a bunch of picks, yeah. No, they'd have to get a bunch of things for him, and I think it's possible. One of the things I agree with you. He could pull an Eli or a John Elway where he says, I'm not. And this is one of those things we kind of brought up last week. We don't tell somebody that goes to school at Stanford and gets a degree in computer programming. We don't say, you know what, you have to go to mom and pop shop in San Bernardino first, yes, it's St. Mary's School of the Nuns, for a year before you go and explore options. No, we say go to Google, go to Apple, go to wherever you want to go to. But for some reason we say with a quarterback or a point guard, well, you know what, you have to go to Cleveland when it's just been proven that it's constant instability. I mean, for God's sakes, Bill Belichick couldn't win in Cleveland.
Well, they automatically think that they can build a team around these guys as one guy instead of developing. And I know the NFL doesn't have a minor league system, but the major leagues have.
The college system is the minor league system.
The college system is the minor league system, and yeah, you really can't completely build a team. And look what they did with Matt Stafford a couple years ago. I mean, they flat out was ready to just cash everything in and build everything around the one guy. And although they did get a little bit better, you still got to put the pieces together around the place. And Cleveland, I think Cleveland is a dumpster fire from the top down.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they just fired Sashi Brown. I think it was last week, their GM.
Right. And bringing in a good football player isn't going to fix that program. And Sam Darnold would be smart to say, no, I don't want to go to Cleveland. You fix it. It's like being in a bad marriage. I mean, I'm not going to come home if when I keep coming home, you keep browbeating me to death. I'm not going to keep coming home, and I want to do that. And Cleveland's in the same boat. They're a dumpster fire from the top down. They need to clean house in their upper level, their upper management. and then start working on the building a nucleus on it.
Because personally, I think Hugh Jackson is a very good coach. Yeah, I don't think he's a bad coach. And I think a lot of these guys have been given raw hands. And the one thing that they've done well is they've kept Hugh Jackson. But I think if you go 0-16 multiple years, eventually they're going to fire him. And here's the other thing. If you're an organization and you keep firing your CEO, if you're Apple and Tim Cook goes and then you have 6 CEOs in 8 years, who wants to go work for that kind of instability? Exactly. Especially if you have options.
Look at the San Diego Chargers a few years back when Marty Schottenheimer was there. He got fired under the pretenses that him and the GM didn't get along. The GM, the president, they were a mess. And it wasn't Marty Schottenheimer. It had nothing to do with Marty Schottenheimer. He had Norv Turner underneath of him. They had a good group
nucleus,
of coaches.
yeah.
But they just, their management was just arrogant. And it was, I don't know, I don't even want to get into it as far as that stuff goes. The teams with the best management and the best front offices win. Look at the Patriots.
Look at the Broncos. Look at the Steelers. The Texans have pretty good management for the most part.
Maybe the Cowboys. I don't know.
Yeah, the Cowboys are around. I mean, outside of Jerry Jones being a loon, I mean, I like listening to him. I don't know whether I would want my boss talking about football matters when he doesn't know what he's talking about. But he's a crazy guy, and so if you didn't hear Roger Goodell, despite to this dismay of Jerry Jones got a new deal for an exorbitant amount of money, and so he's back, and so I think it'll be interesting. I think the most polished is Josh Rosen. I think the highest ceiling, as I was saying before, the most potential is Sam Darnold. And also Josh Allen. If Josh Allen has it between the ears, and I don't like the term, well, he's a winner. I hate that term because depending on your situation, you can be a winner or a loser. Bill O'Reilly was Bill O'Reilly before he got to Fox News. He just didn't have the right management, and I'm not trying to bring up a guy that, got in trouble.
Manning never won a national title.
Yeah, exactly.
You know who beat him? Scott Frost.
I did not know. Oh, okay.
Scott Frost,
that makes
1997, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
And the Huskers beat Peyton Manning and Tennessee.
Yeah, the Volunteers.
Scott Frost went on to win a national title. And then T. Martin turned around for Tennessee the next year and won a national title. So Peyton Manning never even won a national title. Eli Manning never won. Tom Brady never won a national title.
I mean, he barely played in college.
Yep.
So, well, thank you everybody for tuning in to the Western Nebraska Coaches Corner. We finished up with Chad Gimney and Corey Farringer, and now it's just me and Dave Bruns flapping our gums. Thank you for tuning in on 99.3 Sunny. We got 93.3 KMOR as well. Big shout out to the producer and engineers back in the studios at the 2002 West Coast studios here in Scottsbluff. Big shout out to Cardell and to Eddie. Appreciate you guys for putting on a great performance once again here today. And we are going to call it a night. Thank you, Dave, for joining me. As always, I'm Keaton Monier with the Bluff Sports Network, and we will see you next Wednesday not next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we're going to be off because it's about time for Christmas. Everybody's going to be home.
Coaches show. Everybody's going to be gone.
So it is the Coaches Show, and so we will not be here next Wednesday, but in 2018, we will see you guys. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Happy that, and hope you guys have a great week. We will see you guys later, and thanks for joining us once again. Cool. Good stuff, man.